There is something sacred rising in the silence between you. You feel it, don't you? A gentle tug on your spirit, like an invisible hand touching your chest every time you think of them. The angels say, she carries a forgiveness that he never asked for, but that is already healing him. You were placed in this person's life like dawn breaking after a long night. Not loud, not sudden, just there, spreading warmth without asking for it. And without realizing it, you have become the mirror that reflects his truth back to him. He carries guilt, but not the kind born from intention. It is the ache of someone who didn't know how to love properly because no one ever showed him. And now, after everything that happened, he sees what his heart did not let him see before, that you were not just someone passing through. You were a divine presence. You were what he had been silently praying for, even when he still didn't believe in prayers. The angels show me a moment is coming. A moment when he'll look at you, maybe not even with words, but with eyes that finally understand. There will be an apology. Not just for what he did, but for all the times he couldn't see your light while drowning in his shadows. He will say sorry. Not because you demanded it, but because the truth is heavy now. Because your absence is not quiet, it echoes inside him. He will say sorry, because your love left something sacred behind. A wound that turned into awakening. You didn't enter his life to teach him a lesson. You were the lesson. He is now beginning to understand that what he lost cannot be replaced. Not by distraction, not by denial, not by time. And the angels, oh beloved, they whisper this. He was blind. But your love healed what logic couldn't. Now he sees. There is nothing left for you to prove. You already did more than your part. Now let grace do the rest. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. Psalm 103 verse 12. He wanted to love you, but not with the heart he had, only with the one he wished he had. And that, dear soul, is where the ache begins. There are walls inside him, built long before you arrived. Not against you, but around him. Each one a scar from something he never had the courage to face. And when your light touched his darkness, it didn't feel like comfort. It felt like exposure. The angels say, he ran not from your presence, but from the parts of himself your love refused to ignore. You awakened something dangerous, not because it hurt you, but because it dismantled everything he believed made him safe. You made him feel. And for someone who has built an entire world on numbness, feeling is unbearable. You may have taken his silence as rejection. But the truth is, it was surrender. Not to you, to fear. To the possibility that if he let you in, you might see the parts of him that even he cannot forgive. He doesn't know how to ask for help. He only knows how to push. And you were soft when he expected resistance. You stayed when he tried to create distance. You loved without trying to fix. That confused him, terrified him, changed him. He is afraid, not because you are too much, but because you might be the one thing that demands he becomes more. So if he retreated, it was never personal. It was primal. A survival instinct of a heart that never learned to receive love without conditions. But the angels are guiding him through this. They say, he will not remain asleep in fear. Your love has planted a seed that will break the ground. Your compassion was not weakness, it was divine rebellion. And it's working. Just because you cannot see the healing yet, doesn't mean it hasn't begun. He may still be learning how to love. But you already taught him how to begin. There comes a point, dear soul, when love must stop suffering and start flourishing. And that starts with you. You gave so much. Quietly. Steadily. Without asking for anything in return. You poured your light into the empty spaces of someone who is still learning how to hold a candle. Yet, somewhere along the way, you forgot to save some of that light for yourself. The angels say, she gave him what she never received, and that alone was sacred. But now, they whisper something different. Now, they lean in close and ask you to return to yourself. You are not required to shrink so someone else can grow. You are not here to carry a heart that refuses to beat on its own. You are not meant to dim your light so another can find their flame. Let that truth sink in. Real love does not demand your exhaustion. If your soul feels weary, it's because you've been trying to build a bridge on your own. If your heart feels heavy, it's because you've been holding two narratives, yours and his, without any support. The angels are not asking you to give up. They are asking you to turn your focus inward, to nurture the sacred within, to tend to the garden of your spirit before offering fruit to others. He may still be figuring things out. He may still be lost in his emotional labyrinth. But that is his journey to navigate, not yours to carry. Rest now. Breathe. There is beauty in becoming unavailable to what drains you. Your softness is sacred. Your generosity is divine. But your energy is not infinite unless it is nurtured. And that nourishment begins with saying yes, not to him but to you. The angels are watching. They're holding you. And they say, when she begins to choose herself again, the world around her will shift to match that choice. So let it shift. You do not have to be the hero in his story. You were always meant to be the goddess in your own. You didn't just walk into his life. You illuminated it. And sometimes, dear soul, that kind of light doesn't comfort, it stings. The angels say, she held up a mirror, and for the first time he saw the truth in his own eyes. That truth? It wasn't about you. It was about him. The things he buried. The fears he denied. The love he never thought he deserved. You triggered something he wasn't ready for, recognition. Of who he is. Of who he could be. Of what he might lose. And so he pushed you away. Not because he didn't care, but because you reflected the parts of him he hoped no one would ever see. You didn't come into his life to complete him, you came to awaken him. And awakenings aren't gentle. They shake foundations. They unearth pain. They shatter illusions. He saw in your eyes the man he forgot how to be. And in your silence, he heard all the questions he's been afraid to ask. Do I deserve love like this? Can I handle being truly seen? Will I survive if I let someone in? These are the ghosts you stirred within him. Not with force. Not with demand. But with grace. Just by being real. Just by remaining tender in a world that taught you to be tough. He doesn't fear you, beloved. He fears the reflection you carry. But the angels are clear. A mirror does not create the wound. It reveals what is already there. So don't dim your light to make his shadow feel safer. Don't lower your voice just because the truth echoes loudly in his silence. Let him wrestle. Let him reflect. You were never the enemy. You were the evidence of something pure, something healing, something terrifyingly whole. He will return to the mirror when he's ready to see. Until then, stand in your light. You were not sent to save him. You were sent to remind him who he is. Something has shifted. Not loud, not visible, but real. The kind of shift only the soul feels first. The angels say, he doesn't understand why, but he keeps thinking of you at the same time every night. There is a quiet unraveling happening within him. Words unsaid press against his chest. Memories of you surface in moments he thought he had under control. And now, the very thing he tried to bury is blooming in secret. This is the beginning of awakening. And it never starts with clarity. It starts with ache, with longing, with flashes of what if. He notices now the songs that remind him of your voice. The spaces that once felt normal now feel hollow. The patterns he repeated for years now feel too small. His life is still the same, but he is not. The angels whisper, love cracked him open. You cracked him open. And once a soul has been touched by truth, it cannot go back to sleep. That's what's happening. He is waking up to the truth of what he feels. Not all at once. Not in grand gestures. But in small rebellions against his old self. The text he almost sent. The way he lingers on your name. The tears he doesn't let fall but feels anyway. You may not see it yet, this unfolding, but it's there. The tides have turned within him. He's trying to make sense of what his heart already knows, that you meant more than he allowed himself to believe. And now, that belief is shaking. He is learning day by day that love is not a storm to survive, but a path to walk with open hands. And it was your presence that taught him this. Not through persuasion, but through example. His awakening will take time, but it has begun. And the angels are guiding him gently, saying, let the truth rise. Let the soul stretch. Let the love speak. You did not lose him. You woke him. It's always the same rhythm, isn't it? Closeness, then silence. A spark, then cold air. You feel him near, and then he disappears. The angels say, it's not rejection. It's his fear rehearsing the exit again. This is not a game. This is not manipulation. This is a man dancing with his own ghosts, and every time he gets close to the warmth, they whisper lies in his ear. Lies like, you'll lose yourself again. She'll leave too. Don't trust what feels too good. And so he runs. Not because he doesn't want you, but because he doesn't know how to keep you without losing parts of himself he never learned to share. You are not crazy for feeling the intensity, then the distance. You are not imagining the pull followed by silence. This is a soul caught in a loop, the cycle of yearning and fear, of desire and shutdown. The angels want you to see it clearly. Every return he makes is sincere. But every departure is a reflex. His nervous system, his trauma, his unhealed stories. They pull him back into hiding just when he dares to reach for light. He comes back because his spirit knows your presence is healing. He leaves because his mind still doesn't trust safety. This is not about you. And still, it affects you deeply. So what do you do when someone loves you with a broken compass? You pause. You don't chase. You don't collapse. You center. Let the cycle run its course. Let him meet his patterns face to face. You are not here to fix, to force, to fight. You are here to witness your own growth in the fire of inconsistency. Because each time he turns away and you stay aligned, you become the lighthouse. The angels say, the tides will calm when he stops fearing the shore. And when that happens, he will come, not to escape the storm, but to finally live in peace. There's a softness in you that he can't explain. A peace he both craves and fears. And the truth is, your love didn't ask him to change. It simply showed him who he could be. The angels say, your love entered his wounds like light, not force. You didn't try to rescue him. You just loved him where he was, not for what he provided, but for who he was beneath the armor. And that, dear soul, is what broke the spell of numbness he had lived under for so long. He was used to being viewed through the lens of expectation. Perform, please, protect. But you saw his soul. You held space for the part of him that had been waiting for decades to exhale. And something shifted. He began to breathe again. Even in your silence, he felt held. Even in your absence, the imprint of your tenderness remained. He remembers how your presence never demanded, yet always healed. Like water smoothing a stone. Like balm on an old scar. This is the medicine your love became. And yes, healing can hurt. Because to truly receive love like that, real love, is to let go of all the lies that told him he wasn't worthy. It is to peel away the layers he built to survive. It is to face the ache of not having known this kind of love sooner. But the angels say, every time he thinks of you, something inside him softens. Your love is still teaching him, even from afar. Teaching him that connection doesn't have to burn to be real. That safety doesn't mean boredom. That vulnerability doesn't equal weakness. He may not know how to express it. He may never fully explain it. But he feels it. And in ways even he doesn't understand, you are healing him. Not by fixing. Not by trying. Just by having loved. Without conditions. Love is the medicine. And you, beloved, you were the vessel. There are no accidents in sacred timing. And if you've been wondering why things unfolded this way, why it took so long, why he comes and goes, the angels have a message for you now. Everything, they say, is unfolding according to a rhythm higher than logic. You are being carried. Even when it feels like loss. This love was never meant to follow the timeline of the world. It moves in divine seasons, not calendars. It blossoms where the soul is ready, not where the ego demands. He wasn't ready when you were. And that wasn't a punishment. It was protection. His journey had turns he still needed to navigate, lessons to stumble through, pain to unravel before he could stand beside you as an equal, not as someone dependent. And you? You had your own wilderness to traverse. Your own strength to reclaim. Your own voice to rise with. That's why it didn't happen sooner. Because it couldn't. The angels show me a path, winding, uncertain, sacred. And at every bend, they were there. Whispering. Guiding. Holding your hand even when you felt alone. You were never alone. Not when he pulled away. Not when you cried quietly at night. Not when you pleaded with heaven for clarity. The angels heard every prayer, every why, every when. And they answered, not always with words, but with alignment. With protection. With pauses that felt like abandonment, but were actually blessings. Now, a new season approaches. One where what was hidden begins to reveal itself. One where the timing aligns not with your schedule, but with your soul. Let go of the clock. Let go of the fear. Let go of the idea that this love is late. It is arriving exactly when both hearts are ripe enough to embrace it. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11. He wants to love you. Not in pieces, not in theory, but completely. Still, he hesitates at the edge of surrender, where the cost of opening up feels too high. The angels say, his silence is not absence. It is a storm of feelings with no safe place to land. There is so much he hasn't expressed. So many truths caught behind his ribs. And it's not because he doesn't feel. It's because he feels everything, too deeply, too wildly, too much for the version of himself that was taught emotions are a risk. You bring out a softness in him that he doesn't trust, because it makes him ache. It makes him real. He fears being known, not because you won't accept him, but because he doesn't yet accept himself. And every time you look at him with those unwavering eyes, he sees a future he's not sure he deserves. That's the vulnerability. The longing to be touched without being torn apart. The need to be understood without being dismantled. The fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, you would stay even after seeing what lies beneath the surface. So he retreats. He pretends. He puts on armor. But it's not working anymore. Because your love, gentle, persistent, sacred, is undoing him in all the right places. His mind resists, but his soul remembers. It remembers what it feels like to be safe, to be seen, to be chosen without condition. He's not running from you. He's running from the version of himself that can't survive this kind of tenderness. And yet, the angels whisper, he will not be able to resist much longer. Your love is the invitation he's been waiting for, even as he denies it. One day soon, the walls will crack. The fear will bow. And what stands between you will dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Perfect love drives out fear. 1 John 4 verse 18. You are not here to chase what's not ready. You are here to stand in your truth and let what is yours rise to meet you. The angels say, when she stopped asking to be chosen, the universe chose for her. You've walked this journey with open hands and a trembling heart. You've waited in faith. You've loved without guarantees. And now, it's time to release. Release the weight of questions that have no answers. Release the need to be understood by someone still learning to understand themselves. Release the fear that says if it hasn't happened yet, it never will. You've done enough. This love, sacred, messy, unfinished, was never meant to be your responsibility to carry alone. It was meant to grow with you, not drain you. And if he finds his way back, it will be not because you pulled, but because his soul remembered where home is. You were not sent to convince anyone of your worth. You were sent to remember it. He may come. He may not. But your light remains, steady, brilliant, whole. And that's the lesson. That's the gift. The angels are gathering around you now, not to promise a perfect ending, but to bless this moment, the moment where you reclaim your heart and say, I trust. I surrender. I choose peace. Because peace is no longer found in the outcome. It's in your breath. In your becoming. He will feel it. The shift. The stillness. The strength of someone who no longer needs to be needed. And if love is true, it will find its way back, not out of desperation, but out of alignment. The angels close this message with a seal. What is meant for you will never pass you by. Not when your soul is ready.